B footage. I have A footage. You want to clap sync?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1. That was really weak. My bad. I needed my hands. Let's go again. 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm making my sign right now.
Yeah.
Because we're on a time limit. But
Yeah, I'm not
as you
worried
guys
about
can tell, Eric is here. So I'm going to just let him have it. I don't know. Eric, what are we doing today? What are we doing right now?
Man, honestly, dude, we are in an identity booth. And first of all, welcome to the booth. We know it's been a long time since the two of us have hopped on and done a video. The last time you saw me on a video was a late release of something that we did, that we recorded in October at when we met up in Chi-Town for your mom's 60th. So
hey, low key, I still have a video about you from like 2017 I have not released. I don't know when I'm going to release it. I feel like I have to find the right time.
Was it the one where I ranted? Is it my rant?
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, you know what? Actually, now's the perfect time to release that video because honestly, what a lot of people don't know about me is, and I've said it on here, but people probably don't pay attention. Like, I went to Bible college for 2 years. I got a degree in theology. Me and my wife met there. Like, I was a pastor at a church, a Christian minister, educator, whatever you want to call it. That was my deal for several years until I moved back here to Dallas. I haven't, really, not that I haven't pursued it. I haven't found a place that, I found comfortable enough to get involved on that kind of a level. And I basically went off on that rant, not to completely get off of the topic that we're going to talk about today, but I think even that background kind of plays a part in what we're going to talk about today. I ranted because there's so many things that I'm taking issue with. And I can't speak for all faiths, and I don't intend to. My brother Hero is not a Christian, and he's a Sunni Muslim. And that doesn't stop me and him from loving each other just the same and being brothers. Do we agree with each other's faith? No. Have we talked about it? Yes. It is what it is. He knows where I stand. I know where he stands, and that's good enough for me. I have a commandment, and that commanment's to love. Doesn't mean that I have to accept or agree. And having said that, there is a lot of, you'll see in the rant, which Hero release, I go in pretty hard, and especially about this money thing, but y'all can kind of figure that out. But anyway, the reason why Hero and I are on today, because this is officially Locker Room Talk.
Locker Room Talk. I have a sign to prove it, and I just finished it.
Yeah, so.
You see how excited I am about signs?
Hey, man. Listen, you should be. When those skills come get enhanced, you ready to share them with the world, man. Like, you're supposed to be excited,
Boom. Locker Room Talk. We got it.
Yeah.
All right. And this conversation is going to revolve around relationships. A lot of people, I've been doing a lot of talking about my relationships. There's been a conversation with relationships with several of the people I've interviewed, Domati, Jen, and even Candace. And we all talk about relationships, but there's always, as much as I talk about my relationship status and like the things that are going on with me right now, I don't feel like I've elaborated to the extent where I'm like, I feel like that's a suitable answer. Like, the whole notion about me not finding love versus me finding a partner, because I think love is an overarching thing. It can't just be designed.
Love's overrated, bro. And this is the preacher telling you love's overrated. Love completely is overrated. Love is something you're commanded to do. It's not something that you have to choose to do it. It is a complete act of your will. What people don't understand, and this is why I think you're in complete control of your life. This is, ladies, if you're watching, this is a man who has self-mastery. He won't allow his emotions to override his logic. And I think a lot of people don't pay attention to that. A woman deep down on the inside should want a man that is in control of his emotions. Why would you want to be in a relationship with somebody like you? You shouldn't want to be that way. And women can say they want a sensitive man. I say, Not really. You don't want a man that's crying. You don't want a man that's always complaining, that doesn't have self control, that doesn't have any kind of temperance or any kind of virtue, who leads with how he feels instead of what he knows to be right. And
No, I definitely, and I'll take that to a sidebar, but also to this point, emotion it needs to be defined, because you can have someone who's empathetic, sympathetic to your feelings, to your pains, to your trials and tribulations, but it needs the composure to do something about it.
yeah,
A person who's crying next to you because of something that happened to you isn't someone who's inherently going to be able to help progress you forward.
Yes.
Someone who gives you the shoulder to lean on and then can progress with the plan, sure. But also, don't get it twisted. I cried at the end of the fourth season of Boku no Hero. I think it was super sad when Endeavor stood up and put his hand up. That got me in the feels. But it's not. I don't think, like, men can wear pink. I dare a dude to come talk smack to me while I got my pink buttoned up bow tie on. I dare somebody to come say I don't look clean. Yeah. But like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about from a standpoint of how they help you progress. Like, don't get in your feelings right now about, oh, wait a minute, you're saying that people who cry are weak. No, shut up. Your emotional weakness right now is what we're talking about. That is what we're making reference to.
Yes, 100%, dude. Like, I know. And so Hero and I were just casually having a conversation, and I think what we ended up coming to was basically the foundation of what we're talking about today is, as human beings, as male and female, man and woman, why is it that we see so many of our black women not being married or getting married? And I was telling Hero of a very, very sad statistic I read. Is about 75%, that's 3/4 of y'all who like math, of black women in this country today have never been married. Not unmarried, never been married. That's a crazy statistic.
Especially considering that 50% of people married divorce.
Okay, so what we do see though is the initial age for marriage has drastically increased. 60 years ago, the average age for a woman to get married was 18. The average age for a man to get married was 19 to 20. And now we're seeing the average age has increased for men to 26, and for women 28 to 29. That's average. How in 50 years have we made a 10-year leap? What that means to me is feminism has accomplished its goal. I'm going straight for the jugular. Feminism has accomplished its goal to quote unquote liberate women. Now a woman can go and pursue that job. She can go and pursue her career. She can go and pursue the things she deems as fun. And I am completely in support of it.
Okay. And then let's follow through with the counter, because I can hear my comment section screaming at me right now. Thank you, Eric, because I read these. Eric doesn't read these. I read these. The feminism isn't the problem. Aspects of it might be, just like how the Black Lives Matter movement isn't a problem. Certain aspects of it could be perceived as problematic. I am in full support of a woman not only being able, having the freedom to do what she wants to do, equal and opposite to a man. 100%.
I don't agree with equality. I don't agree with the equality part.
Eric doesn't believe in equality, and we've argued this down, because the truth of the matter, and his comes down to a practical standpoint. I won't chase this rabbit, but we've done videos on this. But to the extent that I think a woman should be allowed to fight me in a boxing ring, is the same rate that she should be able to challenge me in the courtroom, the same way she should be able to compete against me for the promotion.
I agree.
think Eric believes that is what equality should be. I don't think it's...
Yeah, I think it's all the way around to what Hero says. You can't pick and choose the part of equality that benefit you and the parts that you find repulsive.
Personally, I'm not going to... me personally, just because of inherent social norms, I've been cruxed by this. I feel deterred to challenge a woman in a setting that I have an advantage. Although that is human nature. You want to win, right? Go win. But pushing forward, feminism from the dynamic of what is an ideal family membrane, ideal family nucleus to you, because it's different for everybody. I've now grown to accept that 2 guys or 2 women can run a household, but for you, the man-woman dynamic, this is something that feminism is hindering.
And it's actually a little bit beyond that. And let me be more clear when I say feminism. So
sure.
What I mean is, you go back to the civil rights movement, it was all black people marching together. And if any lady who has an issue with what I'm saying, go back and just look at the history. Go back and look at the pictures. When the marches were going on for civil rights, it was black men and black women. When Fred Hampton got his house raided by the Chicago police and got shot up, it was his black woman who was 8 months pregnant in the bed with him who had to watch him be massacred. The same thing for Eldridge Cleaver. Go look at Angela Davis. She will tell you these things. She was there at the Watts riots. We were arm in arm. What happened was, we allowed women who did not look like us to come in and our women were pulled away. And shame on us men for allowing it to happen. We did not recognize what it was. We were in such support at that time of our women being able to advance themselves that we did not recognize what was happening to us. There were several things, moving parts. We were having drugs pumped into our communities. We were having gun control placed on us, thanks to the Black Panthers. And we were having our schools degraded and our women degraded. And our men, therefore, were subject to criminal activity. Now, they still had a choice to make, but I digress. What happened was, our black women went and left the civil rights movement for the second wave feminist movement, and they started locking arms with white women, joining in a battle that did not belong to them. For as long as we can go back and look in history, up until the modern era of the 80s, black men have always cherished black women. And now we're at a point where that doesn't happen anymore. Why? Honestly, I still am trying to understand that myself. That it's elusive to me.
I will say this: the black woman has progressed at an exponential rate.
Absolutely, and it's beautiful to see.
And I think I'm in full support. I think I think now more than ever we need a black woman running this country. I think more than ever black women need to be the leaders of our communities. Not because I feel some deterrent towards black men. I am a black man. I don't feel disdain towards us, but we've tried. I think we had our shot. We missed our mark. But now that we have someone in charge, like, I'm not going to sit here and lie, 70% of the black wealth in our community comes from black women.
Yeah.
So why aren't we pushing them forward? And not so much why are we afraid to have them move forward?
Honestly, I don't think we're afraid at all. I think the strength of a group of people.
I can't connect to the Wi-Fi network. You might want to check
thank you, Google.
In the Google Home app.
Yeah.
The mic's off.
Thank you, Google. You see, Google's listening to our conversations. Just want to let y'all know that. Anyway,
FBI, let it be known. I got the KMAC. All right, try me.
Yeah, but honestly, getting to the point where is my computer? Oh no, it's still good. Sorry. Yeah, but we're at the point where I don't have an issue at all with any black women leading. The issue that I see coming from them is either extremely far left or emotionalism. Emotionalism is not how you appeal to the masses. Sound reasoning and logic is how you appeal to the masses. Now, are all women leading with their emotions? Absolutely not. Some of the most profound people that I know are women. Some of the most important people that have helped me in my life are, in fact, women. So it's not about that. It's about a racist movement that has, through subterfuge, crept in to our communities and fed us lies that has pitted us against each other. And what I'm saying is, even with what Hero's saying, the women, yes, since they have the majority of the wealth, they're obviously more educated, they obviously have more access. We need to be using it to our advantage. Allow them to get into the places and through clandestine means come back and raise up those boys and girls who otherwise would not have the opportunity to be in those places or know people like you. See, it can't be, I'm going to get mine and then I'm just going to talk down to those who are less than, especially the guys. I was like, no, because all you're doing is reinforcing a racist stereotype. The same system that you cling to and that you measure yourself by is the same system that you shame when it's a white man doing it. So don't go to university that was created by a white man and then look down at me because I didn't go to a white man's university. You see, you can't have it both ways. You got to pick. What do you want? If you just want to be about your success, go after your success. But if you really want to impact the community, take advantage of the system since you're not deemed as a threat. And you have to know that. And Hero has said that so many times. Our women are not deemed as a threat. So it's easier for you to get into places and do things. And then you come back. You pull somebody by the hand. You go find that hardworking, dedicated, tenacious young brother, and you say, hey, man, you come here, you do X, Y, and Z. If you do X, Y, and Z, then you'll progress. But we're not moving together as a unit anymore. And it's because it's me, mine, and that's all I'm concerned about. And if you don't have these things, then you're not on my level. You're not worthy. I was like, well, listen, you're never going to find it. The statistics are against you at this point, especially for those of you who are looking to get married and cohabitate with a man. The statistics are against you. I said 75% are unmarried or never been married. And on top of that, 60% of y'all are going to university and graduating. I mean, and of the 60% that go, 80% of you are graduating. The 40% are brothers that are going, only 20% of them are graduating. What does that say? If you want a man that's college educated, the statistics are against you. If you want a man that's 6 feet tall, first of all, there's only 14% of men in this country that are over 6 feet tall.
6 feet tall.
Okay, and think about it. What's the percentage of black men in this country? We're less than 7%. So so the chance of you finding a black man that's 6 feet tall, that's college educated, that is has a athletic physique, and make six figures, that is, a fraction of 1%. So that lets you know it's not realistic. So how do you get more of those kinds of brothers? You're gonna have to raise them up. And if you're not getting married, if you're not reproducing, if you're not mentoring young boys, then there's not going to be anyone for you. And if you already have a daughter, who is she going to marry?
You know, this lends itself to questions about back home arranged marriage and things of that nature. As I'm a person who doesn't, that was ended in our family tree in the 5th generation, arranged marriage. So, and the reason for it is because obviously time changes, people change, but more than over, there wasn't an issue about if our genetic line was going to end. We had, my grandfather had 21 kids. Like the genetic line, the genetic line is safe. I feel the bigger question, the bigger issue became, that was done when there was a scarcity of population. When in a village there was only 4 last names, and that brought about the wanting to sort of be in inability to keep your legacy and lineage going. Today, I no longer look at a girl's physical nature as much as I look at her mental, her social, her skill attributes. Like those are the things I enjoy. I was a young man, I was a young bull. I got to enjoy young, beautiful women back then. The woman I will enjoy now will be the apple of my eye, but she's probably not going to be the supermodel I met in New York, which is fine because she's going to be the woman I need, not the woman I want.
Yeah, but to your point, Hero, the statistics also bear that out. It says that 80% of the women want 20% of the men, and these are OkCupid and Tinder statistics. You take them for what they are, but if we're just talking about purely swiping left and right with complete anonymity, that 80% of the women only swipe right 20% of the time, and 50% of the time men swipe left or right. So men have way less requirements when it comes to just physical beauty than women actually believe.
Do you feel it's safe to say that women should have to settle for the greater cause, hypothetically speaking?
Oh, okay. How about I answer your question with a question? If
Sure.
80% of the women want 20% of the men, who has the control? Is it the men or the women?
It's theoretically, by the numbers, it'd be the men, because
Exactly.
they're the desired. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you think the 20% actually have all the control, and here's why. Because they can just, if the 20% are what we call high value men. So these are the men that check the majority of the boxes, physically, socially, financially, and familially. They check the boxes there. So they don't have to settle. You know, I like Amber Rose. I listen to her. She makes some valid points when it comes to the sexual marketplace. She says women have sex with who they want, men have sex with who they can. But the flip side of that is true. Men marry who they want, women marry who they can. And that's absolutely true. It's funny because the majority of women still expect men to buy them a ring, propose, do the whole courtship, plan the wedding, be in a financial position to put a down payment on a house. I was like, these are still expectations. A study showed that the majority of women in this country expect a man to make 1.5 times whatever she makes. I said, we already talked about those statistics. That narrows the field down very, very, very small. So here is the grand scheme of things. Do you want a man who treats you right, who has great character, who has great paternal instincts, who is in touch with your feelings, has control of his own, is intellectual, it gives you just enough time and attention to show you that he cares, but not so much that he smothers? I was like, these are things that you got to measure. And what I've started to notice, just talking to my unmarried friends who are guys and ladies, and some of my married friends, the issues that I see is, and I look at myself, I can speak anecdotally just from my experience. I stopped dating women at the age of 21, and I didn't get married until I was 27. I didn't have any sexual encounters from that time until I got married. And I know that's hard for some women to believe. They probably call BS on it, but it's 100% true. And I've been with my wife. We've been married for 7 years in November. The thing is, what we don't do as people, especially just speaking about black folks, we don't qualify our spouses, and especially the guys. There's things that you need to be checking for, and there's things that guys expect. And since we're on the topic, we'll just throw it out there. What is it, Hero, that you expect from a wife? Let's just put that out there so the women can say that nobody told them. We're not training each other, so let's just throw it out there.
No, and this speaks more to the facts when I say things like I want an equal and opposite. What the hell does that really mean? So yeah, let's grain it down. Obviously, and this is not a deal breaker, but this is an expectation, because once again, the things that the world brings you, you have to just take on one at a time. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I'm a person who's highly educated, so I feel that someone who also matches that would also do well with me. So education is a major. Mm-hmm. I've never been in a relationship, I take that back, I've been in one relationship where the woman was financially stable, not making more than me, but financially stable. Mm-hmm. So I want to be able to say, I know after PA school and all these things are done with me, I'm going to have debt. But I was still able to buy a house with the debt that I have now. So it didn't faze me. But I would, if I knew I had to pay back a house, if I had to pay off a house, and I'm the man. If I can, I will help you pay off your debt. So someone who came in with their own financial stability would be ideal.
Yeah.
Preferably someone who has the span and the range to have 3 to 4 kids. If you want us to date for 1 year, if you want us to date for 2 years, get married, then have kids. So now we're talking 3 years. I need 3 to 4 kids. I want 3 to 4 kids. Maybe you'll get lucky. There's twins that run in my genes. Maybe you'll do 2 for 1. 2 for 1. But can you provide that as well? Also, What is your family structure? I come from a cultured background. I have no missing gnomes about who I am, where I'm from, and the people I represent. Is your family background structured in a way that if religion was taken out of it, your family would still be able to identify with something? Because I come from a generation where Christianity and talks of religious and things of that nature weren't brought up to a second firm. So we can trace my lineage. Self-propelling. Did you wake up today and look at your top 10 things you want to do before I turn 50 board and say, I'm this close away from accomplishing goal number 7? If not, that means you're static. If you're static, you're probably not going to last long with me.
That's good.
Constant self-development. There's a part of me that says if I have a YouTube page and it blows up and you're working a 9 to 5 and I say, hey, sweetie, I heard your 9 to 5 job is doing you great. He's paying your bills, but I need a publicist / manager and PR specialist. And you'll be making 4 times the amount you're making right now by doing this with me. I don't need someone who's gonna say, well, I didn't get it. That's not what I got my degree in.
Man, I need a partner. Let me interject something here, bro. I literally had a conversation with a buddy of mine last night. We were sitting outside, just talking. We were sitting by the pool, and we were having a real conversation. He's getting ready to get married here soon, or and he is starting an online business, and he asked his soon-to-be wife, if I made $100,000 a year, would you stop working? She goes, no. Okay. Without flinching, she says no. He says, if I made $250,000 a year, she said no. $500,000. She goes, no. He says, $1 million. She pauses for a second and then says, nah, I gotta do something. And what he took away from it is she wants to have her own. And the thing that I'm noticing, to Hero's point, is I feel a lot of ladies get wrapped up in their own identity and instead of understanding that when you get married, you become one with a person, and it's about the legacy of your name. It's about the family legacy at that point. If you have a skill set that can help progress the business that's making the most money, then let's go do that. If you don't have a skill set, dang it, quit your job and get the skill set so that we can advance our business. Don't get so wrapped up in your accomplishments and your identity that you neglect what's right in front of you, the better opportunity for the family.